with fractional dimensions. What's a rectangular prism? That's right, a rectangular prism is a prism that has rectangles on every single side. Every single face is a rectangle on a prism. What is a fractional dimension? A fractional dimension, yes, a fractional dimension is a dimension that is a fraction. We can do that. So, how are we going to find the volume of a prism? Well, the volume of anything is always, the volume is the base times the height. The volume is always the base times the height, just like we find the area. But it's not that just in a three-dimensional object, the base is the entire base area. So we are going to say the base is the area of that base. How do we find the area of the base? Well, we are just multiplying the length right here by the width, this side by this side, and we are going to get the area of the base. The area of the base at the bottom. The volume equals, first off, the length, this length, times the width, and then we're going to multiply that by the height, times the height. So, in this case, what is our length? What's our length? Our length is 1 1/6. So our volume is going to be 1 1/6 times the width. So we put a little multiplication sign there. Instead of a little x, we're going to put a dot times 3/5. And then we're going to multiply that by the height, which is 5/7 times 5/7. The length times the width times the height is always the way we find the volume of any three-dimensional object. So, go ahead and pause the video and do that. Multiply 1 1/6 times 3/5 times 5/7. Alright, what do you come up with? Let's do it together. So first off, we need to multiply 1 1/6 by 3/5. Before we do that, we need to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. So 1 1/6 is the same as how many 6? Well, 1 is 6/6 plus 1/6, we're going to get 7/6. And we're going to multiply that times 3/5. And we're going to get what? 7 times 3 is 21. And 6 times 5 is 30. 21/30. Now we're going to multiply 21/30 times 5/7. So we're going to do that. So 21/30 times 5/7. Alright, so what is 21 times 5? Well, I know that 1 times 5 is 5. And I know that 20 times 5 is 100. So I get 100 plus 5, I get 105. I know that 0 times 7 is 0, so I'm going to put a 0. And 3 times 7 is 21. We get 210. So we get 105 210ths. Well, I can just look at that and I can say, well, 105 times 2 is 210. So 210 divided by 105 is 1. So we get 1/2. So our answer, what is the volume of this rectangular prism, is 1/2 unit cubed, because there are 1/2 of a unit cubed inside of this rectangular prism. Alright, so our volume is 1/2 of a unit cubed, is the entire volume of this rectangular prism when we multiply the base times the height, the length times the width times the height.